oral health is very, very important. Because of oral health, the whole vitality of the body is maintained, and that is where we need to look upon the perimenopausal stage, where really is a concern. We always say that perimenopause is a roller coaster. Once you raise the roller coaster, you will have a very good menopause. Thank you so much.
If
Dr.
anybody comes with a toothache, you can do it running from pillow and consulting so many dentists to get themselves treated. You know, this is the new thing.
Last point is very nice, ma'am. That oral health, we start with oral health. Our day to day
Yes.
life start with oral. If oral health is not good, and then it is very difficult for us to do anything.
ये कहते हैं ना, पहले जमाने में ना रात में सोने के पहले मुंगली कुल्ली करके कुल्ली करते, दैट फैशन हैज गॉन. कुल्ली कोई नहीं करता है, फ्लॉस करता है, लेकिन वो धोते हम लोग खाना खाने के बाद जो कुल्ली करते थे उंगली से, दैट इज वेरी गुड. वो पार्टिकल्स निकाल देते थे. आजकल तो ऐसे कुल्ली का भी फैशन. ओके, थैंक यू सो मच.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your excellent overview. It provided a lot of clarity about oral health. Thank you, chairpersons. I request all the chairpersons to be seated for the next capsule. Next topic we have cosmetic gynecology consent. What must be documented? Our speaker is Dr. Sangeeta Sharma. We welcome you, ma'am. I request our chairpersons to introduce our speaker.
Naspur, member of Menopause Society, and authored multiple chapters in textbook of obstetric and medicine.
Thank you, Shikha, and thank you for such nice introduction. Esteemed chairpersons, dignitaries present over here. At the outset, I extend my sincere thanks to the organizing committee for providing me this opportunity to speak in front of this gathering, August gathering. The topic provided to me is importance of detailed informed consent in cosmetic gynecological procedure. So, why this topic is chosen and why importantly to discuss in cosmetic procedures? I like to start my presentation with a single sentence. Consent is not merely a form, it is a process of shared decision making between the patient and doctor. So why consent matters more in cosmetic procedures? Because this is elective and purely patient driven. That means procedures are not medically indicated at all. They are entirely patient's choice. And so the outcome is judged by the perception from the patient, and it doesn't depend on the however good surgery you may perform, but outcome is in her hand and in her perspective. There is higher consent threshold. What does it mean? That means we need to give much more time with patience to the patient for the counseling, and she should be actively involved. And the greatest risk here is in cosmetic surgery, that is unmet expectation, which is often outweigh than the operative procedure's success. So the bottom line here is, friends, no procedure carries greater medico-legal vulnerability rather than, than one performed solely for the aesthetic enhancement. So in general, what are the four pillars of valid consent? One is capacity. That means ability to understand information and make an autonomous reasoned decision by the patient herself. And second one is disclosure. That means we need to disclose in detail about the risk, benefits, alternative, and the limitation of that procedure performed. And volunteerness, that means freedom from coercion. She should not be influenced by undue external pressure, partner pressure, or any kind of social pressure as well. And the comprehension, That means she should demonstrate that she is understanding that consent with her gesture and with her active participation, two-way. So the consent without comprehension is merely a documentation. It is not a informed consent. What are the unique challenges in cosmetic gynecology per se? That is subjective normal. That means there is no universally accepted definition of normal genital appearance exists so far. And the one of the most important nowadays, that is social media influence. Unrealistic aesthetic ideals driven by the digital platform nowadays, online platform, unauthentic. And the sexual function claims again by non-authorized media. Patients' expectation regarding sexual enhancement may not align with the outcome of that surgery or any procedure. And the psychological vulnerability, that means body image concerns in her head, anxiety and the psychological factors complicate the assessment. And there is no universal standards are present so far. That is absence of consensus guidelines on cosmetic outcome across the all professional body globally. So a surgeon must differentiate desire from the necessity and the expectations from the reality. So what we must discuss in particular with that patient, that is procedure specific, of course, what procedure we are going to perform on her. That is labioplasty, vaginoplasty, whether perineoplasty, clitoral hood reduction, energy-based vaginal rejuvenation, and particularly essential in cosmetic procedure are intended benefit and the realistic outcomes, expected recovery and the downtime. Alternative non-surgical options should also be offered to her, and one of the most important, possibility of no intervention at all needed should also be disclosed with her in writing. A patient has right to decline surgery even after receiving complete information from our side. This is her right. So mandatory discussion of risk should be early complication as happen in all surgeries, hemorrhage, hematoma, infection, wound disease. And the late complication, particularly regarding cosmetic procedures, scar hypertrophy. It depends on her tissue structure and type, genetic makeup. Dyspareunia could be overcorrection or maybe nerve entrapment sometimes. Neurosensory changes may happen because of nerve entrapment or any other abnormal regrowth. Chronic vulval pain may happen. And cosmetic asymmetry, again because of scarring and abnormal healing. And the revision surgery may require, we should tell her in detail. So no surgeon can guarantee. Guarantee word is not our word, it's a quackery. No surgeon can guarantee aesthetic perfection or the sexual enhancement. And one of the most important slide in this presentation is psychological screening, which is usually overlooked by a busy practitioner, particularly in cosmetic arena. So evaluate for the following before proceeding for the procedure. One is body dysmorphic disorder, BDD commonly we say. It is one of the part of obsessive compulsive disorder, where patient is has some preconceived notion about the flaws in her body, which doesn't happen, it's not existing. She is normal, but some preconceived notions are there in her head. So surgery rarely resolves such underlying concern. And anxiety and depression, if she is on active psychiatric conditions, on medications, better to defer the surgery. And relationship related expectations, where we have no role at all. So surgery motivated by external relation pressure is a red flag for the poor dysfunction. Unrealistic aesthetic goals, the goals shaped by social media again. Wrong patient is a greater risk rather than the difficult procedure, I would sum up. So, medical legal significance here is common causes of litigation in cosmetic procedures are inadequate disclosure of risk. We need lot of patients to deal such persons. Unrealistic patient expectations, alleged promise of a specific outcome, failure to documentation counseling, of course, and documents what must be documented. That is, clinical indications should be documented, alternatives should be discussed in detail, risk explained in full, opportunity for questions provided, and cooling off period. That means we should ask her to come back after certain time or weeks, because it is not a emergency thing. And the photographic record we should keep before and after surgery, of course, with her consent. So good documentation does not prevent the litigation, but it strengthens our defense when litigations occur. So about one thing about the energy-based device and vaginal rejuvenation. So here actually the limited evidence are there. There is no robust level 1 evidence till date globally. So patient must be informed regarding this evidence gap, honestly. And variable efficacy, so it response depends on individual to individual, and the laser radio frequency treatment depends on her tissue type, and the repeat procedure may require, which require cost, time, recovery implications, so we must tell her it beforehand. The risk of thermal injury should also be discussed. All energy based devices carry risk of burn, scarring, and long term changes to the mucosal tissue. Improvement is possible, guarantees are impossible. So best practice in cosmetic gynecology. Do I have some time? 2 minutes? Okay. So safe practice, that is as stand for shared decision making. Engage patient in as an active partner in your decision making. Alternatives should be explained to her in details and including no treatment at all. And full disclosure of the risk beforehand should be disclosed, and the expectation should be documented. This is very, very important in any, especially in cosmetic people. Record patients' expectations explicitly and verify realistic alignment with achievable surgical outcome is a must. So the take-home messages here are: quality of consent reflect the quality of surgeon. A cosmetic gynecology, consent depends before the consultation and continue beyond surgery. A signed form protects documentation. An informed patient protect doctor-patient relationship. And the most successful cosmetic procedure is one performed on a well-informed patient with realistic expectations. When expectations are managed, satisfaction rises and the litigation falls. This is for any procedure. So I would sum up my talk with the last sentence, that is, a scalpel reshapes anatomy, an informed consent shapes outcome, trust, and the professional credibility. Thank you so much. Here are some references. Thank you so much.
Dr. That, yeah. One has to be really very particular about consent, especially in each and every aspect of gynecology or any kind of surgery. Even non-surgical cosmetic gynecology should be well explained to the patient, and the more better explanation, the more better consent, the more better the surgeon is. So that is the one line take home message.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing your valuable insights.